given so much to this program, and they have to sit the rest of finish their career on the bench. It's not something that they just...
So, a 14-2 run, bridging the second and third quarters, should have been the turning point. The Las Vegas Aces were finally clawing their way back into a tightly contested battle. But then it happened, the moment that sent shockwaves through every Indiana Fever fan watching. Aaliyah Boston got tangled up under the basket. She fought for position. The whistle blew. Jump ball. But how? From behind. From that angle, the camera zoomed in. Aaliyah Wilson had clearly reached around Boston's waist from the rear, arms wrapping. Around like it was a judo match, not a basketball game. And somehow, the officials ruled it a jump ball. No foul, no warning, no explanation. Just a jump ball and a smirk from the Aces bench. Boston stood there in disbelief, eyes wide, lips muttering something you didn't need a lip reader to understand. You've got to be kidding me.
Push-offs in the second quarter, I'm sure, they saw that I pushed off and they called it whatnot. And
what do you do when the referees aren't just missing calls, they're rigging outcomes? What do you do when every whistle favors the same players, the same teams, game after game? If you're the Indiana Fever, coached by the fiery and composed Stephanie White, you don't whine. You fight harder. You rally around each other. And most importantly, you let your game speak louder than the officiating scandal unfolding before. Your eyes, this wasn't just a sloppy call, was the tip of a very ugly iceberg that had been growing game by game. For Fever fans, this one moment was symbolic of a larger pattern, an officiating system tilted, blatantly in favor of the Las Vegas Aces, that had made you question whether fairness was even a priority anymore. Coaches don't explode for no reason, and Stephanie White? She lost it. I've never seen her curse, one fan tweeted. Not in all her years.
She's done so much, but it's not just these 3 weeks. She's been doing it, since she decided to play basketball. It's been
But she cursed that night. And when you watched the replay, you understood why. From the opening tip, the game had a scent. That unshakable feeling that no matter how hard Indiana played, they weren't just up against Wilson and Plum, they were battling stripes and whistles. 2 early fouls were ticky-tacked on Indiana, while Aces defenders mauled their opponents without consequence. The disparity wasn't subtle, it was glaring. Referees gifted the Aces 11 free throws before the Fever got even 2. That kind of imbalance doesn't happen naturally. It's an agenda. That's manipulation in plain sight. And still, it got worse. Aaliyah Wilson got away with screens that looked more like blindsides in football, elbows nudging into ribs, hands pushing off without hesitation. And somehow, the refs swallowed their whistles.
going forward, we'll see what people decide to do about it, but as of right now, I'm just so proud of what this team has done despite...
Like the game was being played in silence. Meanwhile, Boston and Cunningham got fouled on clean box-outs, on basic defensive positioning, on even attempting to jump. Boston in particular looked like she was being mugged every other possession. The rules were clear: if you wear a Vegas jersey, you get away with everything. But the breaking point wasn't even a whistle. It was when an Aces player slapped the ball out of bounds, clear as day on slow motion replay, and the refs still gave Vegas possession. It wasn't missed. It was ignored. They didn't even check it. They didn't hesitate. And when that happened, even the broadcasters didn't know what to say. Sophie Cunningham was knocked down with 2 hands. No foul, no play stoppage.
Our team plays it the right way. They play basketball the right way, and they have a lot of fun doing it, but at the same time, they understand there's more to life.
Just another keep-it-moving moment from the officiating crew determined to hand Vegas every advantage possible. By this point, Stephanie White was red-hot. She paced the sidelines like a bull, ready to charge. Her arms flailed, her mouth moving a mile a minute. The sideline mic didn't catch everything, but the message was clear. Enough was enough. The Aces weren't just being allowed to play physically, they were being rewarded for it. The Fever weren't allowed to breathe without getting hit with a whistle. You want to talk about a double standard? Sophie Cunningham lived it. She got called for fouls that Wilson didn't even get warned for. If it wasn't Cunningham, it was Aaliyah Boston. Every time she so much as touched the ball in the post, the defenders were allowed to hack her. Then she'd try the same physical move on the other end. Immediate whistle. Foul. again, and again. And sitting there watching it all, helpless.
But I just know that me as a person, I'm a better woman, a better person because of this coaching.
To stop it was Caitlin Clark. Clark was on the sideline nursing her injury, and she couldn't take it anymore. The cameras caught her mid-outburst. She jumped off the bench, yelling, her arms flying in disbelief. It was one of those moments where you didn't even need audio to hear what she was saying. She saw what the refs were doing, and her face said it all. This is rigged. So if you understand basketball, if you really understand it, you could see the corruption from a mile away. This wasn't about mistakes. This wasn't human error. This was protection of a league darling, of a narrative, of a franchise the WNBA desperately wanted in the spotlight. The A'ja Wilson whistle wasn't a meme. It was a fact. But what makes this game unforgettable isn't just the injustices.
Time and time again, but I think the biggest thing is the way she holds herself and the way she plays the game.
How? Indiana responded. Kelsey Mitchell looked lost for 3 quarters, 4 for 19 shooting. Couldn't buy a bucket. What, in the fourth quarter? When the game hung in the balance and Vegas was starting to pull away again, with ref help, Mitchell came alive. She scored 9 points on 4 of 5 shooting in the final stretch. She buried a game-changing 3. She attacked the rim like she was daring the refs not to call the foul. It didn't, of course, but it didn't matter. Mitchell scored. Anyway, she wouldn't let this team lose. Natasha Howard, dominant. She bodied A'ja Wilson in a way nobody expected. She was efficient, strong, relentless. 18 points, 13 rebounds, 3 steals. A dagger three-pointer that left Wilson shrugging and glancing at the refs like, where's my help now? She didn't get it. Howard took it all away with her play.
Honestly, I didn't know that. I don't know. I just think, well, first of all, I probably could have.
Aaliyah Boston, 10 rebounds, 13 points, stretching the floor, battling. In the post, getting hacked every possession and still making her presence felt. She took every cheap shot, every non-call, and turned it into motivation. She was the steady hand when things got chaotic. Sophie Cunningham, the sniper. 4. 5 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep. No hesitation. All fire, all guts. Cunningham isn't even the focal point of the offense, and yet she played like she was born for this. Her shooting, lethal. Her defense, even better. And her stats don't lie. She's the WNBA's best three-point shooter in July, and the gap isn't close. That's not a hot streak.
She's made me a better person, a better basketball player.
It's elite production. Then there was Ari McDonald. It's quiet most of the game. But with 35 seconds left, and the game hanging in the balance, she took the only shot she'd attempt in the fourth quarter, a dagger 3. Splash. Game over. She went 3-for-3 from deep. She took Vegas' soul with that shot. And you can't forget Lexi Hull, the spark plug, the hustle queen, locking down on defense, diving for loose balls, turning possessions. She was the glue, the edge, the momentum shifter every time Indiana needed her most. Together, these players did something that should have been impossible. They overcame corruption, they overcame whistles, they overcame systematic bias designed to break their will. On that sideline, jumping and screaming and riding every moment with them, was Caitlin Clark. You want to know what kind of leader Clark is? She wasn't even playing, and she was still the team's emotional engine. Her anger at the refs wasn't selfish. It was selfless. She saw her teammates getting robbed, and it lit a fire in her. That's the kind of teammate you want in the foxhole. That's the kind of leader that wins titles. And when Clark returns, with this version of the fever, with Sophie Cunningham, torching nets, with Natasha Howard shutting down MVPs, with Mitchell saving games in the clutch, the WNBA better watch out. Indiana's win over Vegas wasn't just a game, it was a statement. Their 13-12 record now puts them above 500 and gives them the season series over the Aces. That's a playoff tiebreaker. That's postseason power. And they did it all without Caitlin Clark on the floor. Think about that. They beat the league's most favored team with officials doing everything they could to stop them. This is what championship culture looks like.